Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video. We are going to be going through every makeup product that I brought into my collection a year ago, last year. So everything I brought into my makeup collection May of 2024, and I'm going to be talking you through whether or not they were either worth a purchase or worth bringing into my collection if they were PR products. I do have a couple products that I have already finished up since like within the year, which honestly is always so exciting to me when I have an empty that I'm able to, or a makeup product that I'm able to empty out in the same year. I have one declutter and a bunch more to go through with you today. This video series was inspired by Tom from Hope Mess Tom, so I'll have their channel linked down below. I highly recommend checking them out if you have not already. They are one of my favorite YouTubers out there. So that will be linked down below, as well as all the products that I mentioned in today's video, what's on my face, things like that. So if you're interested in my thoughts on everything that I brought into my makeup collection now that I've had it in my collection for a year, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just hanging out and chit chatting, that is what we do over on this channel. I hope you'll consider subscribing before moving on. Don't forget to leave a comment and like this video as well, or anything else the YouTube algorithm loves for you to do. I would really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into the video. I also have a pizza cooking and I cannot forget about it because I will be so mad if it burns. Should I go check on it now? Let me go check on it now. It probably needs like an additional 2 minutes. So maybe let's start with the 3 products that I brought into my collection last year that I've already emptied out, which I do want to note, May is my birthday month, but May is usually the month right after the Sephora VIB sale. Inevitably, I feel like I do purchase quite a few products in May. And last May was, I want to say like not really an exception. Anyway, squirrel. Okay. The 3 things that I finished up. The Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I believe for last Sephora birthday gift, I got the Summer Fridays set. I did the same thing this year. So I have another little mini Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm that I'm now going through, but I did finish that many. I will say the lip butter balm isn't my favorite. I prefer the Ole Henriksen. I think it just feels nicer on the lips. It feels like it's actually nourishing my lips, where the Summer Fridays feels nice on the lips, but I don't feel like it like heals my lips. Whereas I do feel like the Ole Henriksen like feels nice and heals my lips. However, I feel like the little minis are more annoying than the larger side, because I do have the larger Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in, I have 2 of them. Oh my gosh, hot chocolate is one of them, hot cocoa. And I like the way that that feels better on my lips than the little mini version, which is kind of interesting. I also have no idea. You guys saw I haven't filmed in a little bit. I'm feeling very ADHD today. I cannot find my hot cocoa Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. There's one other, I want to check my other work backpacks. I switched work backpacks, but I can't find it, and I was so close to being done with that, so that's really, really annoying, especially because I'm trying to finish 5 lip products before I allow myself to purchase any more lip products, and so I would love to empty that out. We're getting way off track. I did finish the little mini Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. If Summer Fridays releases a shade or a scent I'm interested in, then I will pick it up. That is what happened with the hot cocoa, but it wouldn't be my first go-to to pick up as like a lip glossy balm product, if that makes any sense. The second product was a free gift with purchase that I got last May, and it was a little mini of the Refy lip glosses. That I did not like at all. That I felt like it almost pilled on my lips. I feel like Refy tries to do these really interesting things with their applicators. I feel the same way about their primer. And it's almost just like the applicator itself is kind of gimmicky, but it doesn't make the product better, and I'd rather have like a good actual product than like have this like really cool innovative applicator. So I did finish that off, but that's not something I personally would recommend or repurchase. I was gonna say it wasn't like a terrible formula, but it really did feel pilly on the lips, so I really wouldn't recommend that. And then the third product that I finished up was the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. This was fine, but I prefer the Pixie Glow Mist for a glowy setting spray, and I prefer the Benefit Professional for a setting spray that is gonna like lock my makeup in. And I don't mind combining those 2 together. I know it's more expensive, but I don't necessarily see myself repurchasing the e.l.f. Power Grip, what was it called? The e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. I wouldn't deter you from this if it was something you're interested in trying. It was a good product. I just have others that I prefer over this one, so I don't see myself necessarily repurchasing this unless I'm like in a pinch. And maybe I could see myself repurchasing this, but it wasn't something that I instantly needed to go repurchase, and it's not really something I've thought about since. Honestly, I kind of forgot that I owned this and used it up. So there's that. A product that I purchased last May and I've already decluttered is the About Face eye paint in the shade Smolder. This was like a pink shade that had like blue sparkle flecks running throughout, which I love that style of shade in practice. In theory, I mean, and practice. Wow, I'm really rusty. But I don't love a liquid eyeshadow. I just purchased this, I feel like, because I was kind of in the store perusing around and had the excuse it was my birthday month. So I was like, I want to buy something. And actually, I was going to buy the Stila Glitter and Glow in Wanderlust. I remember that. I was going to buy that again, but that is $25. And I walked by the About Face ones and I swatched it, and they're not the same shade by any means, but the About Face ones are half the price. And I've told myself so many times, don't buy the Stila Glitter and Glows because they dry out really quickly. They're not worth the money, blah, blah, blah. And so instead I just bought another liquid shadow when in theory I just don't really reach for liquid shadows that much. Now I will say my preferences this year have definitely been changing. I have been wanting to reach for like an eye crayon or just like a very simple eyeshadow palette. Like I've been kind of like keep me away from the color. Today this was like a lot of color for me. And this is really like a more neutral, just mauve leaning look. So honestly, I could see myself potentially buying Stila Wanderlust again. In fact, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I should add that to my Ulta cart because I feel like I would absolutely love that right now and honestly get like multiple uses a week out of that. So I might go back to that. But the About Face, I felt like the shade, like if I'm going to be reaching for a liquid eyeshadow, it's going to be because I want that liquid eyeshadow to really make my eyes pop. I want it to be intense, metallic, really punchy on the eyes. And I just felt like the About Face shade was really kind of subdued, not even really like a metallic. It felt more of like a satin metallic. And again, I just don't reach for liquid eyeshadows that much. So ultimately I did end up decluttering that. That is not something I should have bought. And honestly, I knew, like, it's like when you're holding something around the store, like in my mind, I knew I shouldn't be buying this item, but I was using my birthday month as an excuse to, so that was not a smart purchasing decision on my end. Now let's get into the products that I still like, that I have in front of me. So I actually have quite a few products I feel like that I received in PR last May, and we can start there. Let's start with the Kaja Love Swipes, or not Love Swipes, the Kaja Dewy Bars. So they actually sent me their whole range. I believe there were 6 shadows. Sorry, wow, I am really rusty. I believe there were 6 blushes in the range, and I decluttered 4 and I ultimately ended up keeping 2 of them. This one I've used so much. It's the shade Cranberry Cooler. I actually brought this with me to Las Vegas when I like originally received this package. My daughter fixed mine for me because I had like accidentally got a bunch in the lid. She just chopped it off with a knife for me. So thank you, Zoe, for doing that. But I really enjoyed this. It was a really beautiful kind of brown blush shade, kind of like a brown sunburnt sort of blush shade, which is honestly just like right up my alley. That's the type of blush I really enjoy reaching for. And I like the formula. It's not my favorite cream blush by any means, but it's easy to use for me. I just go on with, where is it? Oh shoot, it's probably in my travel bag. I just use my e.l.f. I don't know if they sell this anymore. This is the Airbrush Stipple. And I would literally just like brush it and then tap it onto my cheeks and then use a beauty sponge to kind of blend everything seamlessly. And I thought it was a very easy blush formula to work with. And it did offer kind of that dewy, glowy, kind of juicy finish to the skin, which is my preference when it comes to honestly anything on my face. So I really like the finish. And then I did decide to keep the shade Peach Cobbler as well. I actually use this. I do have B-roll footage. Look at me just having the B-roll. I used this in the B-roll footage and I was not paying attention and I did the same thing. And so my daughter's gonna maybe need to fix this for me. I can still use this. The one thing I will say about this is I have to be careful not to like leave this in a window where there's direct sunlight because it kind of does melt. So keep that in mind too if you're traveling with this or if you're like storing this in like a hotter place. It's definitely kind of melty. But like I said, I like these. I definitely want to keep these 2 shades still. I do plan to do a year-end declutter, and the one thing, this one I know I will likely keep. This shade, I'd be curious, swatched against some of my other cream blushes, like how similar it is. I just feel like I don't need a million of the same shades. I found that I've been definitely in my mind okay with letting go of more makeup products. I have a bunch of makeup products that I have set aside that I plan to declutter, and so we'll see what happens honestly when we get to the point where we're actually decluttering. But I feel like if I had very similar shades to this, maybe I would end up passing this one along, just because I don't, like, I would already have one shade in the formula, and again, it's not like my tippity top favorite formula of all time, but for the shade and honestly the dewier finish, I enjoy it, and I'm keeping them. I'm glad that I brought those into my collection. Then I have 2 products from What's Up Beauty, and actually 5 products came last May, but I'm down to these 2. So I have the liquid liner in the shade Comet, and this is just a black liquid liner, and they also sent along, it was like a green kind of duochrome liquid liner. So I've been reaching for this month, just to like kind of refamiliarize myself with the product, and I have found that I just don't like a liquid liner like this. I like a pencil liquid liner, and when I say pencil liquid liner, I mean like a pen liquid liner, something like this one from Lawless. This just has almost too much product on it, and I found that my like lines, when I'm not doing like a winged liner, I'm doing just like a line on top of my lids, not tight lining, but like a line on my lash line. This is just getting to, like, it's too thick, and I found that I've like messed up my makeup some days. I just love the Hindash one so much, and I feel like I got so used to using that when I then transitioned back to this, it's just too liquidy for me. And so I actually think I will likely end up passing this along. One thing I am very happy to still have in my collection, and I actually was recently working on this in a project, it is their lipstick, and this is in the shade Seba. It's their matte lipstick. I do have this on my lips today with a gloss over top. This is such a beautiful formula, and I really do like this lipstick shade as well. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. This is a really beautiful nude that leans a little bit mauve-y in my opinion. But it's a really comfortable formula. It reminds me of the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea like color splash lipsticks. Claims to be matte. I find it to be more of a satin matte. I don't find this to be very tuggy at all. I don't find it to be the most long lasting, but it is very comfortable, and that's what I prefer if I'm reaching for a bullet lipstick. Again, I really like the formula. I really like the shade. I did pass the other 2 shades along to my mom and sister just because I do not reach for a bullet lipstick all that frequently. You guys are probably like, why are you doing this? I just wanted to point out, there's like the embossing on this lipstick is just, I don't know how they did it. It's like Egyptian pyramids all around. Just absolutely beautiful. I really appreciate some of the fine details that What's Up Beauty puts into their product. So I'm glad that I didn't bring all 3 lipsticks into my collection just because I don't feel like they would get the most use, but I am still happy to have this. And that was made known to me because I recently rolled it into a project and got some consistent use out of it, and realized how much I do really like the formula and like that shade. I feel like editing this is gonna be really tough. I feel like I'm literally not making sense as I speak along with you guys. Anyway, the last product that I received in PR last May is the Lawless Forget the Filler Line Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss in the shade, wow, I don't know why I read the Lawless Forget the Filler, in the shade Maple Sugar. I feel like I didn't just receive maple sugar, so I'm a little bit confused. I'm like, did I receive other products with this? But this is all that I have listed, so we're just gonna go with it. And I had lost maple sugar when I pulled everything into my Shop My Stash, but I did find it. I did find this. I had brought this with me to a hockey game, and it had gone missing, and now I found it again. I have used a decent amount of this, and honestly, like the way that this product coats the walls, I feel like I've probably used even more than it looks like. Lawless Forget the Filler, you don't get the most amount of product, but I really like Maple Sugar. It is this really beautiful kind of mid-tone brown sort of shade, and it is a little bit more opaque than some of the other Lawless glosses. I do love kind of a brown nude on the lips, so if I want something, like my go-to is a gloss, but if I'm wanting kind of like a brown lip, I feel like this is a great option. This is something I could see myself finishing this year, and this is a shade that I would repurchase. I would not repurchase every single shade in the Lawless Forget the Filler, but this is one that I would want to have in my collection. The two eyeshadow palettes that I brought in last May, I have the MAC Encrypted Kryptonite. This is a 6-pan eyeshadow palette, and I got this because MAC Satin Taupe, which is this shade right here, used to be like the only thing I wore on my eyes. High school, college, I probably went through 5, 6, 7 full pans of MAC Satin Taupe. And so I was feeling a little bit nostalgic, and I didn't just want to buy the single pan because I believe the single pan was in the mid-20s, and then I could get this 6-pan palette for, I think it was $35. So I ended up getting this, and I will say it's definitely never going to be my most prized possession in all of my palettes. Not gonna be my most reach for, but I do enjoy having this. There was a look I created that was more of like a smoky eye with this blue kind of satin shimmer sort of shade, and I loved that look. I've had some fun with this. I will say I don't love MAC Satin Taupe like I used to, but I'm glad that I have this. I feel like it's useful from time to time if I want to do a smoky eye. Would I be super sad if this went missing? Would I like want to go repurchase it? No, but I do enjoy having it in my collection. And the other palette that I bought last May was the BBB Secret Garden palette, and I absolutely love this. I think this is beautiful. It is a larger palette. There are 25 shadows in here, but this palette is stunning. I like that we have a row of neutrals. This holographic shade is so punchy on the eyes, but I absolutely love that. I love the greens. I've done some green looks with this eyeshadow palette that I think are just so stunning. As with all of the Bella Beauté Bar special shadows, these are super punchy. Like, they are that very metallic, special, shifty kind of Bella Beauté Bar formula that we know and love if you've used Bella Beauté Bar. So I really enjoy the shimmer shades in here. I love this cool tone pink shade as well. I haven't played around as much with the pinks in this palette, but this is something I'm so happy that I got, and it's a fun one to have in the collection. There are 3 additional makeup products that I purchased. So I did end up picking up the Supergoop Protect Tint Daily SPF. I had picked up the lighter shade during the Sephora VIB sale, and then I returned one of the products that I got during the VIB sale, but it was in May, and I decided to kind of return and return and replace my return product with a darker shade in the Supergoop Protect Tint. I have recently been reaching for this again because, again, I pulled all these products out to kind of refamiliarize myself with them, and I forgot how much I love this formula. I remember I loved it so much that I went out and bought another one, but then I stopped using this after last summer. And I feel like anytime I think of like an SPF, like a tinted SPF, I just think that's not gonna last super long. This is actually such a long-lasting formula. I fell in love with this because I brought this to Las Vegas, and I was at a work conference out there, and I remember like putting it on, and it literally lasted like all 8 hours that we were like at meetings, at like seminars, whatever you do at a work conference. I was there. Meetings, breakout groups, the like. I remember just being so surprised that this lasted all day. And then there was a day that I wore it when I went to, was it Zed that I saw at the pool party? I think Zed. And I was like very surprised that this lasted like through the Zed concert, like anyway. And I really didn't burn. So I was very pleased with this. I loved that we have the SPF 50 in here. And for me, this kind of replaces any connection that I would have still had to the IT Cosmetics CC cream. I used to love the IT Cosmetics CC cream for SPF in the summer, but now I have this, and I feel like this is much more long lasting, lighter, less coverage with this, which I personally prefer, and I think this is beautiful. I've been wearing this to work. It's been lasting me all day at work. If it does start to wear off, it wears off very gracefully, and I'm just such a big fan of this. This is definitely something that I would repurchase when I finish these. I was very pleased with this. I feel like this was an excellent purchase, and I'm so glad to still have those in my collection. Another thing that I bought was the, oh, sorry, this one I forgot about just because this was a repurchase, but I did buy this last May, and this is a favorite. I repurchased this because I missed this in my collection. It's the Kosas Cloud Set Powder, and I will absolutely be rebuying this when I finish this one. This is my favorite pressed setting powder to set all over the face. I do have drier skin, which it may not look like it because I like to add so many glowy products to my skin, but I have drier skin, so I like something that feels a little bit less mattifying and a little bit lighter weight on the skin, and that is exactly what I get with the Kosas Cloud Set. I have not found a pressed powder that I like more than this one, so this is something that I will continue to repurchase. I tried to go a little bit of time without this, and in fact, I was thinking about buying this again last Sephora VIB sale. I didn't, and then I missed it, and then I bought it in May, clearly, which is why we're talking about it now. So, love the Kosas. Okay, this is not the correct shade. I cannot find the correct shade. I seem to have misplaced it, but I love the Buxom shade that I bought last May, which was Buxom Golden Dolly, which is this really beautiful pink gloss with golden sparkle to it. The Buxom gloss is right up there with the Lawless Forget the Filler for me. Like, those are my like 1 and 2 favorite lip glosses, especially when considering a plumping lip gloss. And I would say the Buxom is best. If you like something that's truly gonna be so long lasting, you don't have to reapply it that frequently. The Buxom is truly like the best in my opinion. I just love Lawless, but like Buxom's formula is probably better. I hope that Golden Dolly turns up. I was like going through my daughter's things. I even showed her this and I was like, Zoe, did you take something that looks like this? And she was like, no, Mom, I promise I didn't. So I hope it turns up because I really, really enjoy that shade. I feel like that was a good purchase. I purchased a lot of Buxom lip glosses last year and I honestly have no regrets about any of them. I feel like it was a good purchase because I truly wear them very frequently. And then the last product that I have to talk about that I purchased last May was the Give Beauty Feeling Cheeky Amplifying Blush Duo in the shade Stars Aligned. Okay, up until last year, I was really loving the sunburnt blush situation. I was in my sunburnt blush era. And I will still say, I do like a rosy cheek. I like in the summertime for it to look like I have a sunburn without actually being burned. But last year, I started to really lean into more nude or neutral blushes. And I really started to feel that way after I really fell in love with Laura Mercier's Fresco, but I think I bought that in 2023 or maybe even 2022, but really started to lean into the new bronzy blushes again. And there was quite a few fun colors in the Give Beauty duos that I was kind of interested in. There was a bright orange one, there was a bright purple one that I didn't think would be for me, but they definitely had some unique shades. And I really wanted to try the duo because I'd really liked everything else that I had tried from Give Beauty up until that point. I don't even know what's happening with Give Beauty at this point in time. Everything was half off at Sephora and I haven't really looked into like the brand's website to see what is going on, but I don't even know if you can get this blush duo anymore. I was trying to explain why I went with this shade. And I will say, I bought this, really enjoyed it when I was testing it last year, and then it went to the back of the blush drawer and I really didn't think about it again until pulling it back out. And then I started using it again and I've really fallen back in love with this. It is just kind of exactly what I'm looking for in a day-to-day blush. Kind of that rosy, browny, nude sort of shade. We have a matte blush on the bottom, but I would really describe this more as like a satin matte. Like it doesn't look totally flat on the skin. And then we have a little bit more of like a glowier, lighter blush on the top. And usually I just mix these two together and I really like the finish that they give to the cheeks. I'm so glad that I pulled this back out because I feel like this is something that I won't let get to the back of my blush drawer again. And I am really glad that I bought this. I feel like it was, in terms of like my mindset, I had been thinking about these for quite a while before I actually went into purchase. So it wasn't just like a random spur of the moment sort of decision. And I think if I had gone with the brighter orange duo, it may have been a less smart purchasing decision, but I feel like this is a more wearable shade for me and also a shade of blush or blushes that I really do enjoy. So I honestly feel like this made sense for me to buy and I'm pleased with my purchasing decision on that. I hope in editing I can make sense of all this, but thank you to anyone who's made it until the end. I do plan to film a couple more videos today and this weekend, so hopefully I can get back into the groove of things. Maybe I'm just hungry and need to eat some pizza, but those are my thoughts on everything that I brought into my makeup collection a year ago today. I would love to know in the comments below, do you have any makeup products that you purchased last May that you still have in your collection? What are your thoughts on them? Have you emptied some out? Have you decluttered some? Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.